Hey guys, what's up? I'm fortunate to be joined today with my most senior coach. This is James. You may have seen him in some of the other videos on this channel. And we're gonna talk about one of the most frustrating things in game, which is when you start to get some success, you start to get phone numbers, and then it seems like you can never get a date. The phone numbers just flake and flake to the point where you're like, is it even worth getting phone numbers anymore? And for anybody who's gone through that intermediate stage in game, you'll know that phone numbers and getting the texting and follow up right and getting an actual date is one of the biggest challenges you're ever gonna face. Now, James is particularly good in that area, partly because he's just good at game overall, but partly because he has a style of game that not only hits all the important game points, but it's also very natural, very congruent, builds a lot of comfort while also building value. Beyond that, James is one of the most technical coaches. And so whenever you ask him to explain something, he doesn't just have these nebulous woo-woo answers. He has very good concrete steps you can do. And so he's been tackling this whole area of phone number flaking a lot with his own students in his own game. And he's really codified it to a few simple lessons and takeaways. So what we're gonna show you today is actually an example in field of James doing a very solid approach that led to a solid number. And he's gonna break down inside that. And then he's gonna give you some takeaways so you can apply the things in your own game. So I've talked too long already. I'm gonna turn it over to James and let him take it away.
Awesome, thanks man. Yeah, so basically I saw a lot in my own game as I was getting better, and I've seen a lot in students. I do feel like getting from the point where you can go out, approach, get phone numbers, it is a point where a lot of people can learn to get to that point. It's not super easy, but it is very achievable. But there's always this big gap between I can go out and get phone numbers and I can go out and get numbers that actually end up being solid numbers and leading to dates. And this is the thing that I've noticed that a lot of people struggle with. And so I've realized that there are a couple of really key elements that if you do hit these elements within your interactions, it does lead to way more solid phone numbers. And it's the difference between when you text a girl and you're trying to set up a date and you're doing the texting, it's so much easier because the girl actually wants to see you again. The girl liked the interaction. She's interested in seeing you again. And so it just makes the whole process way easier. So if you can have these elements in your game and you can have these elements in your interactions, it's gonna make everything way easier. So that was the idea behind this breakdown. The reason that I specifically wanted to break down this one is because I do think it's very replicable for a lot of other people. If they just understand these elements and go out and try to practice and try to learn them, it will lead to really, really solid results. And that's what I want for everybody. So that's why I wanted to do this breakdown.
Excuse me, sorry.
Sorry, I can't see anything because of the sun.
Let's go. Maybe like this is better?
Yeah,
there we
that's
go.
Good, thank
nice, much better. I really like this look that you have.
Oh, thank you. It's from Kos.
It's from where?
Kos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, as in like the Greek island?
You know,
Kos?
no, that shop. COS.
Okay.
It's on Regent Street.
All right, so as far as this open goes, this is a pretty standard open that I would normally do. As I go to open her, the sun is like straight in her face. And then straight away, she's like, oh, sorry, like the sun's in my face or something like that. So it kind of messes up the flow of the open a little bit. I like literally like position myself in front of her and like kind of stand up a little bit so that the sun is like not going straight into her face. What I like to do in this situation is I like to deal with whatever the random thing is that messes up the open, and then I go back to my opener. So that's the main thing to comment with this open so far. So basically I stop her, I deal with the sun, I'm like, hey, I really like this look that you have. And then straight away she's like, oh, thank you, it's from Kos. Another funny thing with this is that I had no idea about what this fashion clothing store was. And I literally thought she was talking about some Greek island. So I commented on that because I'm basically like, oh, it's from here, like this Greek island. And she's like, no, you know this shop, it's from here. But I do like that she's basically like explaining where she got the look from. I like that because it's a little bit of extra investment from the open. And so that's another thing that I look for here.
There you go. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, stylish, but very like kind of hipster at the same time.
Casual.
Yeah. You're
lazy. That's me all over.
You're a lazy casual hipster.
Yeah.
Eh? Yeah?
I'm trying to pretend I'm put together, but I'm not.
Really?
Yes.
Oh no, Jesus Christ. What is, now I'm very concerned, you know?
So at this point I've done my open. I'm basically like, hey, excuse me, I really like this look that you have. She explains, you know, it's from this place. We get past that. So the open is normally like, hey, excuse me, I love your look. Normally she'll just say thank you. And this is where you have a bit of room for creativity. And this is where you can kind of make it unique for the girl. And this is where I find the opener can be, it can be very effective. So basically I say it's very stylish, but kind of hipster at the same time. So it's a little bit of like a push-pull. So that was my follow-up. And then she actually takes the follow-up and runs with it a little bit. She's like, yeah, I look like I'm kind of put together, but I'm not. So basically I'm like, oh, so you're like a lazy casual hipster. And she's like, yeah, trying to pretend that I'm put together, but I'm not. And then I do this kind of little push away where I'm like, oh no, now I'm a little bit concerned. Because basically she's like, I'm like a lazy casual hipster. I'm trying to pretend that I'm put together, but I'm actually not. This is another slight example of the break-in rapport. Whereas ideally the break-in rapport or the little tease or the push away is more in the negative. So I'm like, oh wow, now I'm a little bit concerned. And then straight away she's like, oh no, there's nothing to be concerned about. And I've already got to the point where she's kind of like lightly qualifying herself a bit.
Cool. I have to run in a second, but what's your name?
What's your name?
James.
Nice to meet you, James.
Nice to meet you. Hello. What's his name? Oh man, I love dogs. I can't deal with that right now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I've done like a light false time constraint, and it can help. Generally with false time constraints, don't do it on every single approach, but you know, be prepared to do it when you need to. So I do the false time constraint. I introduce myself. Like, by the way, my name's James, what's your name? She tells me her name. She points to her dog and she's like, oh, this is my dog. And I acknowledge the dog quickly. Firstly, because I like dogs. And so it's kind of hard for me to not do it. But secondly, she makes the effort of acknowledging like, this is my dog. And so for a lot of people who own dogs, like it's something that's somewhat important to her. So I don't want to brush it off like I don't care about the dog. So I'm like, oh, hey, you know, dog, what's up? Pat the dog. One thing with girls with dogs, you want to be a little bit careful. Like when the dog's like really crazy and psycho and skittish and stuff, you want to be careful of like acknowledging it too much because then it can draw the attention away. But this dog was just like super chill and relaxed. So I just gave it a quick pat and then kind of moved on.
Where's your accent from?
It's a male
What?
accent. Yes, I know.
Really?
Surprising, yeah.
I was not expecting that
I
actually.
know everyone will say that. It's because I have a dad and a mom, and I just look like my dad.
So now I've moved on to where are you from? And the way that I established this was I noticed that she had an accent. And so instead of just being like, oh, where are you from? I'm like, oh, where is that accent from? And then she tells me where she's from. And this is another example of a very simple break in rapport. She's like, I'm from here. And I'm like, what? Really? Which is basically the opposite of a lot of guys when they would be like, oh, where are you from? The girl tells him and he's like, oh, cool, that's awesome. That's the trying for rapport or seeking rapport version. And generally in the beginning of the interaction, in order to establish some value, in order to spike the girl's emotions a bit, in order to get her to qualify a bit, you're better off going for the breaking rapport version, which is basically what I do here. I'm like, she tells where she's from and I'm like, what? Okay, that's kind of random. She actually goes on to tell me the reason why she's sounds like that. She's like, oh, it's because my mother is from here, my dad's from here, something like that. It's another simple version of she gives you some information, you break rapport, push away, and then she comes and kind of justifies or gives the reason why, which is another form of self-qualification.
You don't look at all.
Does that sound?
No.
Oh.
No. You don't.
To hear that.
You don't have a French accent.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
Where are you from?
Originally I'm from Australia.
Oh, what took you here?
Well, mostly choice.
I'm basically saying like, you don't sound like that. You don't sound like you're from here. That's really interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that, huh? And I leave a light pause. And then she actually then asked me the question. She's like, oh, where are you from? One thing to comment on with that is really, really common with a lot of guys is that they don't leave space for her to even ask you a question. And so what I'll normally do at like the end of a thread is I'll kind of just like linger on it for a bit, or I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Interesting. I'll just sit for a bit. And that gives basically the pause for the girl to kind of invest and ask you the questions as well. So basically she's like, where are you from? I answer the question, I'm from Australia. And then she's like, what took you here? You should ideally have some good high value answers. And so she's like, what brought you here? And the funny thing was that I could have done the teasing answer here when I was like, oh, a plane took me here, obviously. Like I could have done like the teasy emotional spike. I felt like with this girl, she's pretty relaxed, she's pretty chill, and so I wanted to avoid that, but I also wanted to give an answer that was relatively high value. So I was basically like, I'm just here by choice. Not qualifying myself, not overselling it. I'm just like, yep, what brought you here? I'm here by choice.
That's a choice.
How long have you been here?
I'm based in Barcelona.
Oh,
Yeah, but I come back and forth a lot. So I'm here
in Barcelona.
I just work. So mostly I work from my laptop, but I do some work in person as well.
Is it what you call a digital nomad?
No,
I hate that word.
no.
Cool, so this is interesting. She asked me a few more questions, which I like. She's like, how long have you been here? My assumption was that she was asking this question under the understanding that I lived in London, which I don't. So I wanted to establish that. I was like, oh, I'm based in Barcelona. She keeps asking me some questions, and she asked me like, oh, what do you do out there? I'm like, I basically work from my computer. And then she asked me this like, are you like a digital nomad? I guess you could say it's a light shit test. She was the girl that if I'm like, yeah, I'm a digital nomad, I travel and work from my computer, it would kind of be the wrong answer. Basically, my idea was that like, you know, there's this like digital nomad community who they travel around and work from their computer, but a lot of the times they're kind of broke or whatever. And I didn't want to place myself in that box. So I'm basically just like, no. And then you hear she's kind of like, I hate that expression or whatever. I just basically pass it by being like nonchalant and non-reactive, and then we go from there.
Please do not place me in that category. It's super
So
lame.
you moved from Australia. Where about in Australia?
Do you know it very well, or?
I mean, I've been to Sydney and Melbourne. That's it.
Okay, I'm from.
Okay, no idea.
Are you good with the sun, or are you like dying? Or?
It's better. It's not great, but it's better.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So you've been in my country.
I did, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Surprising.
Yeah, right. Look at
So
you.
it's only
Okay, so one thing to comment from a bit of a high level, she's kind of asked me a bunch of different questions about where I'm from and specifically what part I'm from and what I'm doing in London and what I do for work and all this sort of stuff. Generally, this is very, very good when a girl's doing this. And oftentimes, guys will struggle to get to this point where the girl's actually asking them questions and she's actually investing. The two main reasons for that, number one, you're not doing a good enough job of breaking rapport. You're not doing a good enough job of the pushaways. And that causes the girl to kind of come back and it creates some curiosity, it creates some emotion within the girl and some intrigue, and it makes her kind of come back and start investing a little bit. Are you actually breaking rapport, creating some spikes and doing little pushaways? The second thing is that oftentimes you're just not leaving enough pause, you're not leaving enough silence. You have to kind of like linger a little bit at the end of each thread in order to give her actually the opportunity to invest and ask you the questions as well.
it's only work. Otherwise, it's way too far to go there by choice.
So you're obliged to go there.
Yeah, I was doing a
Uh-huh.
and I happened to have a friend who was like traveling around Australia, so I thought, let's just meet up in Australia.
Okay, sick. Nice.
Okay, so once again, she mentions that she knows some things about Australia. So I'm like, oh, so you've been in my country? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, okay. Even then, it's not super strong. It's not a super aggressive push or an aggressive tease, but it's still getting out of this category of, oh, cool, awesome, did you like it? And just like the feeling behind what I'm saying. It's not like, I'm not trying to like seek commonalities or be agreeable with her. I'm like, oh, so you've been in my country, wow. And then she just basically starts explaining her experience in my country, her experience in Australia. And then even she explains why she needed to go there. And I'm basically like, oh, so you're obliged to go there. It's not like you wanted to go there or something. So just still some light breaks in rapport.
So you're like a little bit of a travel bug.
I have to travel because of work, but it's usually like short trip, like a week, and then I'm back here. I'm full-time based in London.
Okay, what do you do?
I work
Okay, right. Interesting. Right, so you're like a little bit creative.
sometimes.
You have to make them look the
No, I
right
don't
way.
take. I just say if the is good or not. But I take it. So
Okay.
people are taking.
We move on from that thread and I'm like, so what do you do? We're probably going to cut a lot of this out for privacy reasons and stuff like that. But basically, she tells me what she does. And even then, I'm not like, oh, awesome. Oh, really cool. Okay, so you're basically like a little bit creative. I don't give a bunch of validation. I'm like, oh, so you're a little bit like this. And then once again, she goes on to explain herself. And then I'm like, oh, so you have to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So you're a little bit like this, a little bit like that. And once again, it's not fully validating. It's not me fully just giving her a bunch of approval. I'm not taking the seeking rapport route of this conversation. I'm basically like not entirely impressed. I'm like, you have to be a little bit like this. Okay, interesting. She's still kind of like explaining herself. She's elaborating on it. It's still events that are happening that I'm very happy with.
Good, bad.
I actually spent my afternoon today looking at 5,000. That was taking me forever. It was horrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an agenda. Wow.
It is what it is.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Now you're just taking a walk or?
Going to the tube and going home after a long day. Yeah.
A long day in front of the screen?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. Interesting.
That's it. Yeah. How about you? So you are based in Barcelona, but you're here visiting?
Yeah, exactly. I'm here until the weekend. Yeah. And then
What do you do in London? Just like holiday?
I had some work-related stuff here. I had some clients here that I had to meet up with. But I also have friends who live here as well.
Okay, so we get off the what she does, and then she asked me what I'm doing in London. And once again, it's an opportunity for me to give a good answer, a high value answer. I'm not overselling it. I'm not qualifying myself to her. I'm basically like, I had a little bit of work stuff here. I had some clients to meet up with, and I've got a couple friends here as well. I like the answer because one, having to travel for work and meeting with clients and stuff like that, it sounds relatively high value. And then also being like, I've got a couple friends that I'm meeting up with here. There's also an element of like kind of social proof, like I have friends there. So it is subtle and it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it is still a good, response. So even though it's pretty simple, I do like this as well.
So it's like,
So many Australian in London, like so many.
yeah, but I don't like to meet Australians.
No?
When I'm out of Australia, no.
Oh.
No, I don't like it. Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of like feeling a bit like home when you meet your own people outside of the country, you know?
Yeah, but also when you want to leave your country and travel, there's a reason for that.
No, I'm saying this, but I only have one friend. I don't have any.
You like to meet up with people when you're at?
I mean, the only person I meet up when I'm in London, I've known her for 15 years, so
Okay.
it's like a real friend. But other than that, whenever I hear people, I tend to not speak with them.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually really, really interesting. She's basically like, there's a lot of Australians here in London, as if it would be a good thing for me to meet up with other Australians. And her idea behind this is like, if you're traveling, it's good for you to meet up with other people from your country. And then I basically challenge her on it, or I give my opinion, which is like, when I'm traveling, I don't want to meet up with other Australians. And then I give my explanation. And then the funny thing is that she basically like completely flips her view. It just, once again, it adds to the value. It kind of confirms, okay, I have established some position of value in this conversation. She is more likely to fall into my ideas. She's more likely to fall into my frames, which is another very positive thing to happen in an interaction like this.
So when you're not like, staring at thousands of
What do I
your
do?
thing? Yeah, what's your deal?
Walk my dog, play, go for drinks with my friend, like
Okay.
normal life, really. Yeah, I love
Really?
it.
Basically, the topic here is like, what do you do for fun? And it's very interesting because what do you do for fun? It's a great topic, and it is a topic that's a good topic for evaluating or qualifying the girl. It's basically like, when you're not working or when you're not fulfilling your obligations, how do you spend your time? But the thing is, a lot of the times when guys first understand this topic, they just straight up ask like interview mode sort of question. And so they'll ask it like straight like that. So what I like to do is I like to kind of finesse it a little bit. And then from there, she explains the things she likes to do. We get onto this topic. And then once again, I'm like, okay, cool, interesting. Which is just, again, it's the slight break in rapport version. I'm still at this point where I want more investment from her. I'm like, cool, let's get some more qualification. Let's get her to invest more. It's like the more of that qualification bucket you can fill, the more value you kind of have. So I'm happy to try to just do another light challenge, a light break in rapport, and just kind of get her to invest a bit more. She tells me about, so I'm like, okay, interesting. And then you'll see she kind of starts explaining herself a bit more about as well, which is another thing that I'm very happy with.
Yeah, I love
Really?
it. Yeah. It's only a recent hobby, like 3 months, but
Yeah.
everyone was telling me before I started, you're gonna get addicted, and it's a real thing.
Okay.
Once you start playing, you just want to play all the time. So now this is what I do. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right. I can't picture you like running around.
Really?
A little bit, maybe like a little bit goofy. I don't know.
I am not the best. But
Yeah.
definitely enjoying it.
Are you clumsy at all, or?
She explains it a little bit. I do another little kind of light, it's a very soft, very light push away. And then she kind of qualifies again a little bit more. She's like, well, I'm not the best at it, but I'm really enjoying it. Or something like this, which is, it's just another version of her lightly qualifying.
Now, according to my coach, I have good coordination. In real life, I'm definitely clumsy, but when it comes to apparently I'm well coordinated. So.
Okay.
I don't know if he's telling me this to push me to pay for more lessons.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. You never know.
Maybe he's good at marketing,
Yes, maybe.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So, drink. You have a
Drink.
social life.
Slightly, yeah. I'm not a party
A
girl.
little bit social, not too social, not too lazy.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably a 5. Social butterfly. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, but you're not like crazy extrovert going out all the time.
No.
That's refreshing. That's good.
No?
Yeah.
See?
Okay, so now we're at a point in the interaction where I've gone in, I've opened, I've done some light breaks in rapport, playfully kind of pushed her away a little bit. She's qualified. There's been multiple topics here where she's qualified herself to me. She's qualified a bit about her job. She's qualified a bit about the kind of travel stuff. And now I'm getting to a point where I want to start establishing there are some things about her that I actually like or that I'm into, which is basically the third thing that I look for in a really solid interaction. It's the breaks in rapport and getting her to kind of react a bit emotionally, getting some emotional investment, and then it's you giving a little bit of approval. It's you kind of establishing, hey, here are some things that I actually like about you. Here are some reasons that I would actually want to see you again. And so we'll see how it goes from there.
I mean, I wish sometime I was a bit more of a party girl, but
I mean, it's less likely that you're going to be annoying, put it that way.
maybe, yeah.
So it's this light tease, this light push away, and she laughs a little bit. It's a genuine laughter, which is another good just little like emotional element. It's this element that I'm allowed to be a bit negative, a bit spiking, a bit pushing away.
Yeah, I went to a concert and the concert was great, but I feel like everyone was just so extrovert around me. That was it was too much for me. Like I'm like, oh,
Okay.
I'm not happy here. Yeah, it's too much.
You ever find that when it's like you're around somebody who's like really extroverted,
Yeah,
and there's a part of you is just like, just shut up, please.
it's too much.
Stop talking. Yeah. That's a positive. It means that a lot of people actually annoy me, but that means you're slightly less likely to annoy
I've
them.
been told I was annoying, but people are polite. They probably wouldn't tell you to your face if you're annoying.
Okay, cool.
Cool, so once again, now this is actually something that I'm establishing like a commonality with.
How about if you annoy me, I will tell you to your face.
Okay.
Yeah,
Challenge accepted.
good. That's positive. Nice.
Okay, so I really like this part because we basically have this little section where she's like, I'm introverted, I'm not much of a party girl, I'm not an extrovert, and I'm like, oh, that's positive. It means you're less likely to annoy me. And then she's like, I've never been told that I'm annoying, but maybe some people are just not going to say it to my face. And then I'm basically like, okay, well, how about this? I promise that if you annoy me, I'll tell you to your face. And I get this little giggle from her, and she's like, okay. She's like, challenge accepted. That's when you just do this little kind of tease, this little kind of push away thing, and you get this little like giggle, this little emotional reaction from her, and she's like, okay, cool. So this is obviously not a massive like emotional reaction. Like the girl's not going crazy, which you'll find sometimes in some interactions, and when you can have that, it's great. But even just like little emotional spikes, just little kind of chuckles or giggles that are like genuine laughs or genuine emotional investment from the girl. So this is a part of this is probably one of my favorite parts of the interaction. I just love this little kind of bantery thing between me and her. Even though it's quite soft, it's quite subtle, it does still have an impact on the interaction.
So you're like a little bit social. You go out a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And you drink a little bit, but not a lot.
No.
Yeah.
Cannot tell you last time I was drunk.
Okay.
2 glasses and that's it.
You have to be careful actually, because you're giving me like a lot of green flags at the moment.
Really?
This is-
Because I'm
yeah.
not drunk.
Yeah, you're not like party animal. You're not like drinking all the time. A little bit.
You don't care, but
Well, you see, the thing is, when somebody like is into like taking care of themselves and health and fitness and stuff like that,
yeah.
I think that's generally a positive.
Okay, so now we're at a point where I'm quite happy with all the events that have happened in this interaction. There's some little emotional spikes. She's reacted to me emotionally a couple of times. There's been plenty of her qualifying herself to me, which I'm very happy with. I've also given some approval. For me now, I'm basically at the point where I'm like, okay, this is good. Now I'm going to try to close. And for me, when I'm at a point where I want to start closing, I'll normally lead up to that with a bit of me qualifying. It'll be a bit of me kind of like summarizing what I know about the girl, establishing some positives, and then I normally go into a closing sequence. I'm like, oh, so you're like this, so you're like that, you know, you party a little bit, you go out, you drink a bit, but not too much, this, that. I'm like, you gotta be careful, you're giving me like a lot of green flags right now, which is the positive side. But even then, it's a bit of like a push-pull. It's like, you know, be careful, we might start to like each other. And then she's like, I mentioned the thing about, and then she's like, oh, you don't care about. But then this is an example of taking something about the girl, turning it into what sort of person she is, and then giving some approval towards that. So she's like, you don't care about, but I'm like, yeah, but when somebody is into sports or into like health and fitness, or they generally like to take care of themselves, that's something that I think is a positive. And that's something as well that a lot of guys struggle with. It's like, how do I take this and actually make it about the girl? You have to take the piece of information and then you have to ask yourself, who is she as a person based on the fact that she does this? So basically at this point, I'm pretty much ready to go into a close.
You're more interesting than what I was expecting, to be honest.
I don't know if it's supposed to be a compliment.
It's positive, yeah.
I mean, that when you see me, you expect me to not be interesting.
I had 0 expectations, to be honest. Yeah. You can't be putting people into a box. I think it's not good, you know?
No, this is true.
Yeah. Cool. So, okay, so now you're walking your dog, you're going home, stuff like that?
Straight, get at the tube and yeah, go home, take my dog to the park and that's it. Just great.
You could also argue that this could have been possible to take her on an instant date. Pretty much said, you know, she's walking to the train station and then she's planning to go home after that, which is something that's not a very important, or it's not a very urgent thing to do. So I very much could have instant dated her here. And for a lot of you guys in this situation, I would recommend trying for an instant date.
Okay, cool. Well, how about this? I got to go as well.
Cool.
But you do seem kind of interesting.
What was your name? You said James, right?
James.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about I don't know. How about I shoot you a text at some point?
Yeah, sure.
If you want, we can maybe grab a drink or something like that.
If you're in London. Oh yeah, you're obviously in London until...
I'm here until the weekend,
Okay.
but then I come back quite a bit. So
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Do you have a British number or? Okay.
Here for 13 years. So.
13 years. Okay, I'd be a little bit concerned if you didn't have a British number.
Imagine.
Okay.
Okay, so that's basically the close. So I go into this section where I'm like, you know, you're more interesting than what I thought. Then you're moving towards a close. You give like a light qualifying statement. All right, so how about this? How about I take your number, or how about, cool, I can shoot you a text sometime, and then from there we can maybe try to meet up and grab a drink or something like that. That's one version of closing which I'll do. So I'll suggest the idea of us meeting again, and I'll keep it relatively vague. I'll say, you know, what's your thoughts on trying to hang out and grab a drink or something like that when we're both free? And I'll get her to agree on that. And then I'll get the number from there. I'll be like, okay, cool. You know, if you want to put your number in my phone, I can send you a text. Pay attention to the level of enthusiasm in the girl's voice when she's like accepting or agreeing with the close. Like in her voice, she sounds like quite happy and quite excited. Like there's like 0 resistance from her. There's like 0 hesitation. She's just like, yep, cool, let's do it. Awesome. You'll know that when you're trying to close and you say, for example, okay, cool, how about we hang out another time? How about I take your number? And she's like, yeah, sure. When you hear hesitation like that, Unfortunately, it's normally a sign that you just haven't done enough in the interaction. There needs to be more value established, there needs to be more attraction, there needs to be more her qualifying or these sorts of elements. But when you're closing and she's just like very happy for it, it is another good sign to pay attention to. So that was basically the close. From there, got her number, and then that was basically it. Cool, so that's it with the breakdown. I do also want to include a little bit of texting, because that is a very good way to determine whether or not you ran a good interaction, how solid the phone number was. And it is a very good indicator as to how good the interaction was. And even if you're running an interaction or you meet a girl and maybe you're not even particularly that interested in her afterwards, I would recommend you still text her anyway. So I do want to include a little bit of the texting here, just so you guys can get a bit of an idea. So yeah, that's also something that's very helpful. So with this breakdown, the thing that I really wanted to highlight here, the 3 main points that you're looking for in your interactions. Number 1, is the girl emotionally reacting to you? And easiest ways to do that are generally these playful teasers, these little negative spikes, these breaks in rapport. Second thing is, can you get the girl to qualify herself to you? Best way to do this is with a bit of challenging, or even just getting her to explain the reasons why. Combine these two together, ask a bit of a challenging question with the reason why. This is a great way to go about it. Third thing is you qualifying the girl. Now that's you giving that little bit of approval to her, you establishing that there are some things about her that you do like, some things about her that are a positive. Now, one thing with qualifying the girl, you do generally want to save that part until after she's qualified herself to you multiple times. Ideally, it's going to have a lot less strength behind it if they're not qualifying themselves to you first. So that is something that you do want to watch out for, but those are the 3 main elements for what you want to make a solid phone number. 1, can you get her to emotionally react to you? Number 2, can you get her to qualify herself to you? Number 3, are you qualifying her or are you giving her some of that approval?
Awesome. Thank you, James, for taking the time to do that. Obviously, very detailed, very in-depth, very useful, and that's, the kind of advice you get from this man. If you guys are interested in more from James, he actually has another video on the channel with him in field. He has a couple on Ask Tudvi as well. He also is my coach in Europe, so if you're in Europe and want to get coaching, this guy is available there a lot. But I just want to say thanks again for all that, and thanks for taking the time to deal with this area of game that isn't particularly one of the more glamorous areas, but if you actually want to succeed, it's so critical. So thanks again for being here and helping us out.
For sure, man. My pleasure. Thanks very much, guys. Thank you.